else do you teach here at the school beside bread making?
Well, Caterina, we teach an array of different products here at the school, but we have, from our breads, we go to all sorts of pastries or bread making, but croissants is a specialty of the school, and we have a wonderful Swiss-trained educator here at William Angliss, and her name is Aurélie Geminier, and she's going to show us how to make croissants.
And there's a real skill in that, because you know when you're having a bad croissant, you know, when there's either too oily or it's too crispy, so there's a real skill in that.
There's a technique of getting the layers together, and Aurélie's going to show us that, and it's called lamination process. If that lamination...
Fascinating.
Oh, there you go.
If that's not correct, we won't get the steam action, we won't get a rising, and we won't get a nice laid croissant.
Now, Angela and Nick, we're going to go into the kitchen to see Aurélie laminate those croissants, and I am desperate for a cup of coffee. I can smell it.
Oh, I'd love a hot croissant.
Well, I'm ready for a bottle of wine. Now I would like to introduce you to one of our specialist teachers here at William Angliss Patisserie Department. Her name is Aurélie Geminier, and Aurélie today is going to be showing us how to make croissants. Welcome, Aurélie.
Thanks, Angela.
So, Aurélie, how do we start the process of making croissants?
Well, to start the process first, you need to grab a little bit of baker's flour, and here we got 425 grams of it. Why baker's flour? Because it's got a lot more gluten content. If you're looking for baker's flour in the shop, it probably comes under the name of bread flour. The next we need to add sugar. Caster sugar into it is best because it will dissolve faster in the dough. And we have here 30 grams of caster sugar. Next we need to add some salt. Be careful not to add too much salt as it will slow down the dough. And we have 7 grams of salt.
So you can see, everyone, that how easy these ingredients everyone has in their pantry at home, and you can make this dough with your family, or, like I say...
Oh, very easy to whip up in a hurry. The next ingredient we put in is yeast. Now, yeast you need to be very careful because it's actually alive. If you put too much salt on it, you can kill it. And if it is old, it can also lose its property. The best thing to do when you're at home is buy dry yeast. Dry yeast comes easily at the shopping center, and here I have 25 grams of fresh yeast, but at home you only need to put 12 grams of the dry yeast.
So that's a good point there, Aurélie, that
Yes.
with dry yeast you can put it in your cupboard and pull it out anytime you may need it.
Exactly, very
Great.
easy. When you add your yeast into it, make sure you do not put it on the salt. So mix the salt a little bit through the flour. And the last thing we need to add in our dough is cold water. Make sure the water is very cold because we do not want to start the yeast rising straight away. So you need to make a hole in the flour to incorporate the water in. Then you need to start slowly mixing your ingredient together.
Aurélie, how much water did you put in the bowl?
225 grams of water.
225 grams. And Aurélie, can you tell us a little bit more about the yeast? We've got dry yeast and we've got, like we call, fresh or compressed yeast.
Well, the dry yeast is just a fresh yeast that has been dried out. What happens is it makes it a lot more practical to keep for longer in the house. Because it's half of the size and it doesn't have the moisture or half of the weight, you don't actually have to keep it in the fridge. And it's easily stored in a little can. You can normally buy it in the shopping center in little bags of 7 grams or in a big can of 125 grams, which will last for a very, very long time just in a cupboard on the shelf.
So Aurélie, now we're going to be kneading the dough. And
now I have started kneading the dough,
yeah,
yes.
So how long would this process take for people at home? So if they wanted to make this dough?
Probably about 15 to 20 minutes.
So
you don't want to develop the dough too much.
Okay. And ideally, if you had maybe a small mixer, you could actually put it in a mixer, do you think?
Oh, that will be a lot easier in a mixer. 2 minutes on low speed and about 4 minutes on medium speed at home.
Okay, so ideally this is a good workout if you're at home or you want to get the kids busy.
It is a very good workout going like this for 20 minutes.
That's fantastic. And then what would you do once the dough's been kneaded, and what would you do with the dough then? Do you leave it on the bench or?
Well, you need to wrap it up nicely and put it in the fridge overnight. It will last, it will stay on the shelf in the fridge overnight, and the next day then you will start doing the rest of the process. So before you put the dough in the bag, make sure you put a little bit of flour on it so it doesn't stick in the bag, and then tomorrow it will be very easy to take it off the bag.
Well, that's a good tip, Aurélie. Thank you for that.
The next step is we need to prepare our batter. Now the fat is going to have to be layered into the dough. For that, we need to turn that batter, which has been soften at room temperature into a lovely rectangle. So very easy. You just need to mix your batter. Make sure it is nice and smooth. At home it's very easy because it is 250 grams of butter. That means you can just grab a stick of butter, let it stay at room temperature, and then the next day you can turn it into a lovely square of butter. So once it's nice and softened, just put it in a bag or in some glad wrap, and then we're just going to need to roll it into a square.
So Aurelie, you've put it in the fridge and it's nice and pliable, and I noticed the shape of the butter that you put it into. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, you need to make sure you put it into a rectangle shape, because our dough will be in a rectangle shape, and the batter is going to have to go 2/3 of the dough, to cover 2/3 of the dough. Once the dough has been rested overnight and your batter has been left in the fridge for 10 minutes to get cold but still pliable, you need to incorporate the batter into the dough. This is called lamination. The process is of putting a piece of butter, 2/3 of the size of the dough, and then slowly fold the piece that doesn't have any batter on it over half of the batter.
Is that what lamination is?
Yeah, this is called incorporating the batter. The next step is to do our single turn. Now in this dough we're going to have to give it a single turn and then a book turn or a double turn. Once you fold the dough again, in the same process I incorporated the batter, then you need to let it rest for 10 minutes in the fridge.
Well, thank you, Aurelie. Now I can see you're rolling the dough out to about 3 millimetres. Aurelie, you've got the dough, you're cutting it into triangles. Can you tell the viewers why you're cutting it into triangles?
Of course, cutting into triangle is to make the lovely traditional crescent shape that our French croissant have.
So, saying it's traditional, when the process of rolling it up and you turn it into a crescent?
You turn it into a crescent shape, yes, very traditional. Now they also made chocolate croissant, we are just sold as triangle.
How long do we need to leave them on the bench to prove?
It will take a couple of hours, it depends on the temperature, until they double in size.
Double in size, okay, and then we put them into the oven. What temperature do we bake them at?
We bake them at 210 degrees for about 20 minutes.
And yes, I hope you're all inspired, and I hope you're also all inspired to stay tuned to another episode of Regional Italian Cuisine. Grazie, alla prossima. Ciao. Buonasera.